And welcome back to Wall Tactics. We're here to talk about the previewed Ork WTC list. Here with me, my co-host is Chris Tech Lord.
It's just Chris Tech. The Lord is one of the others. It's just Chris Tech.
Chris Tech Lord. So if you guys don't know, Chris Tech Lord is my cousin. So yeah, and he's also on my team, of course. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the WTC list. There are 10 Ork lists that have been shown at this event. Which is pretty low, right, Chris? What were you saying? How many Grey Knight lists were there? Which is your faction? Like, 31?
Like 26, almost 30 Grey Knights, but
no, I think there was 31 Grey Knight lists.
The issue is there's the same amount of AdMechs as there is Orks.
So. Yeah, that's true. There's the same amount of AdMech as there are Ork players. Yeah, which is kind of telling, right? What was cool is I think a lot of these people kind of knew that Bully Boys and them would be kind of nerfed, so they made kind of good changes in hindsight and kind of preemptively moved away from Bully and at least some Green Tides.
Yeah, I think the issue is that when they were building these WTC lists, there's not a bunch of like Nexus data on it, and Orks just got hit, so they didn't want to go into like with a faction they were like unfamiliar with that had some big changes, and obviously you don't want to like let your team down. So I think they played it kind of safe in what they took.
I really think, if not all, the vast majority of these Ork lists, if not all of them, came from just faction specialists. The teams needed an 8th person or an 8th good, reliable person they could rely on to win the majority of their games. And they just teched into an Ork player that was like, sure, I'll bring this faction because Orks overall can do well. They're a very skill rewarding kind of faction where if you're a good person, you can get the most out of them and their max potential. And if you're a little bit newer to them or, kind of learning them, you can really struggle. So Ork kind of reflect that in that way, which is rewarding, but also kind of discouraging if you're new.
Yeah, I feel like when you look at Orks too, like the data sheets they have, they can tech into certain pieces really good. Mm-hmm. Like we'll see a bunch of beast bosses and just anti-vehicle Devil would hate, or just I'm just gonna run at you really quick and then you're just gonna have to deal with me. And what they're good too is you can push a lot of OC really early and you can keep those games scoring low, so you might never get like 20-0, which is very important in teams.
And I think people really experiment with the hunt, or at least we'll see today if that happens. So before we show the list, let's talk about our sponsor, Baron of Dice, which comes to us as our dice provider for our paint competition, which we hold in our Discord. So check that out. There's 5% discount for Baron of Dice in our description because nobody likes taxes. So shout out to Baron of Dice. Hopefully we can get you our dice soon. And that being said, if you guys haven't seen, oops, wrong, we have. So there's two kind of tournaments going on, right? There's the singles, which is right here if you're looking at the screen on the left. WTC War Masters GT, 9 rounds, 507 players. I checked that out. It's pretty much the same 10 players are from the teams. All right,
literally
the same 10 players are the ones that are there because they're at the same time plate guys. And I guess just no one else felt comfortable bringing Orks. So it's like the same 10 players showing up for this. So we're just going to look at the team one, see what teams brought them out. We're going to take a look at what we think they kind of text for and the roles they're providing for their teams as we check them out, and just get a feel for what some of the best players in the world are feeling as to Orks. Shout out to the super comments.
Wait, let me try and pronounce this.
Do it.
Murder Mouth Blood Moons. Is it Moons? How do you say that? How would you say it?
You did. No, you did good.
Okay.
We keep reading.
The only way from down is up, lads. Whoa.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right, you did not bad for that for me on Necron. Shout out to everybody, everybody in chat.
What do you mean? I'm a gene seed of the
Wapple
this weekend.
We got a bunch of walls. Let's go, everybody. Let's go, Antonio. And I'm excited to kind of see what's going on with them. I'm preparing some videos for just talking about some tactics and some ideas overall. A lot of the content I do seems to be long form, and I'm considering maybe a little bit more short stuff just to kind of get people's ideas out there and get my toes wet with some ideas or thoughts or helpful tips and stuff like that. So that being said, I'm kind of excited to look at these guys, but I'm also excited just to talk to everybody and see what's going on a Friday evening. Wapple said I'll be getting some dice when they drop. Yeah, I'm excited for that because Baron of Dice was the only person that was was the only company that was able to get us dice with our actual logo on.
Are those for sale yet or not yet?
No, they're not. Hold on, do you see it? Is it on there?
See what?
The
You're good.
That work? All right, cool.
Yeah,
I couldn't see. All right, so here we are with my boy.
For those who can't, his monitor is like blocking his mouse where it needs to be.
Oh man, I'm gonna be horrible with these guys' names. So, Team Bulgaria, my boy Kalen.
He's trying to call him Kylo Ren.
Kalen. All right, shut up.
I don't know.
All right, so Kalen, my boy Kalen here from Team Bulgaria. He brought the Warhorde. So let's take a look at what his list is looking at real quick. What I'm really looking at here, guys, is at least our community between the Discord and the channel. We have a good idea of what the consensus is for what's good with Orks and why. Not too much bias here. Everybody kind of can agree and understand why Warhorde is considered the best by default, but we understand the strengths and the purposes of each detachment here. So I'm really looking forward to when people go to Warhorde, is it looking at like a general list, or is it looking like it's kind of tech into killing something specifically? And if it's not Warhorde, what roles are trying to provide here? So let's see with this Warhorde list. We have the double beast boss, which is pretty much just almost like a staple.
That 20-point decrease is just nice.
I loved it. And then they gave the beast boss. I'll never get over that. The pain boss, a 10-point increase just out of nowhere. Then we have a pain boy with follow me, lads. Love to see 105.3 wound model. Who else has 105 points for 3 wounds? Tell me.
I don't know, but 105 points for 10 wounds, rogue traders.
Tell me, dude. No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't go on tangents like that. Then we have a war boss with cunning but brutal, another war boss super cyborg body, and then another war boss just straight up. Usually you bring the super cyborg body in your war boss when you just have no points. When you just have that just leftover points.
Do you think it's better on a war boss or a beast boss?
Oh, I think the war boss.
You think so?
Yeah, he has more wounds. So then we have the 2 units of beast snaggers, a 20-man unit of boys, 5 trucks. Love the trucks, man, back in action, right? Flash kits. We got a 10-man and 2 5-mans. This is how I'm going with them right now, even though I'm going to start experimenting with more and more flash kits since I kind of got my hand on the last 10 that I needed. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Kevin. Then we have 2 units of Gretchen, 2 units of Knobs, just 5-man units, and then 3 units of Storm Boys. More and more, I'm in love with just having 3 units of Storm Boys on my list, to be honest, Christian.
How come?
It's because Nexus, now things can't really do actions when they fall back and shoot and stuff like that. Having Storm Boys that can advance and charge all game just feels like value, where you're like, oh, I can go out and touch you. I can go out and touch you. I can go out and do an action. I can score. I can have something for deep strike. It's like one's for deep strike, one's for turn 1 or turn 2 secondaries, and then one's for screening / getting in the way, throwing grenades, whatever. It kind of works out like that in some games.
They're still good value. They're like the price of like Space Marine Scouts. They're just cheap. They're good.
And then
the free Power Claw
for sure. And then 2 knobs with the 2 flash kits is of course 2 SWAT teams, right? So the way you're breaking it down for these 5 trucks are you have 2 SWAT teams, which are flash kits and knobs. Then you have a 10-man unit of flash kits. Then 2 units of beast snagger boys with beast bosses, and then a 20-man unit of boys with
just walking up
with the pain boy with follow me, lads. So they're moving 8 inches, and then they probably have the cunning but brutal war boss with them.
Does that fall back in charge?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Fall back and shoot, fall back in charge. Okay. So pretty much they're moving, because remember, you got Here We Go in this detachment as well, so you can stage them in the middle.
So that's +4 to move and then +2 to charge, basically.
Yeah,
it's +2 to advance, +2 to charge. That's just fast.
That is fast for 20 dudes, man. They're chugging.
So they're
it.
+6.
They're chugging it.
So they're base 6, right?
Yeah.
So base 6 +6 after all the buffs. So they're base 12, basically boys just coming at you. They'll get where they want. Stage 1
This is why everybody loves Warhorde, right? Because the stratagems give you what you kind of want and need as an orc player, between speed, fighting on death, and throttling your offensive output. Those are like the 3 things you want.
Crit 5s are good.
And it gives you both of those. You're like, yeah, here we go. You always remember, here we go, and you're like, let's go. Because you can just get so many things stuck in across the table. So this is a very orc fundamental list. I really like this list. On the rating scale, on what I give this for a Warhorde list, this looks like an all-rounder list, in my opinion. It's just straight up all-rounder.
Nothing bad about it. A little bit of shooting. Good for secondary.
5 trucks.
So many secondary action monkeys.
5 trucks?
Yeah.
We haven't seen 5 trucks has been great for orcs since Index Hammer, right? Going for 6
over a year.
They went 9 back then. Shout out to
a year ago,
Lucas Troller for 9, but Yeah,
9.
he ran 6 transport trucks before, and then the 3 Forge World trucks, which you're not allowed to run anymore. But so guys, anybody who's looking at trucks, if when in doubt, play Warhorde and use a bunch of trucks, and we're seeing that again right here. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again. But he went up to 5, so I like that. I do like using 2 units of Grats because with all the 3-inch deep strikes, you want to have double the Grats. 2 of them on the objectives. That way, if someone drops down to shoot one, you can still have the other one still on the objective and kind of retain it.
A bunch of battle line is just really good for.
Well, Grats are in battle line here.
No, you have 5. He still has 5 units, right?
For battle line, he only has I think 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, just 3.
Because
Grats are. You just remember Grats are only in Dreadmount. It's because I've been playing a lot of Dreadmount versus him, so he has that on his mind. Shout out to here for Alan. He said, Blade with the Stomper, Gaz, Mech, Grats, and 5 boys. You mean 5 boys units or what? And you had Gaz. That's awesome, dude. Really jumping out there with Gaz in there. Put your Gaz in the Stomp, I assume. You're like, don't walk, here's the middle of the objective.
You did that for one game, right?
No, I've never done Gaz in my Stompa, dude. No, I did Gork and Mork, though. So shout out to you. That's awesome. And shout out for the 4-month super chat flex, boy. Love that. Whoa! All right. So for this list, like I was saying, this is a straight up great archetype. I'm gonna give this a solid.
You doing stars or what are you doing?
I'm gonna give it out of 10 rating for how I feel about it. As in, what fat would I even consider taking off this list? I'm gonna go ahead and give this list a straight up 8. Just straight up solid. You're just gonna run into a little bit of lack of AP here because all you have is your 2 5-man knob units. Other than that, I mean, because you also don't have too much reliable for taking down something in one shot like a Land Raider. Anything that can fight back and requires multiple activations to kill like an Angron is kind of going to stand up to you because Angron's going to feel no pain, reduce damage by 1, and then just stand in front of that beast boss.
Yeah, I think the issue is if the opponent is another melee army and they have interrupt available, they might punch you kind of hard because all your things you might want to charge like 5 times or 3 times at once. You're going to want to hit. You unfortunately might want to interrupt. Might's going to happen somewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what 5 depths for.
You have 5 trucks. You're hoping to get the initiative most of the time here and kind of selectively throttle and kill stuff. Fighting on death is always a big factor. But yeah, I think there are going to be a couple times where you're going to run into another really good melee army. And if your transports don't save you, then it could be the weakness. That's the only reason why I don't go higher than an 8. But 8's still a really good score. There's just a couple data sheets and a couple matchups that are kind of falling between the lines here that I would not like to see. But this is a straight up what I would assume all-rounder list from my boy from Bulgaria. So shout out to him. I like that Warhorde list. I like that he didn't have gas for the most part.
You don't like gas?
No, I love like gas. I do for the most part. But I like that he still played it without gas and he just went to the double beast bosses, which is I see happening a lot whenever I'm putting lists together too. And notice he had no infiltrating, no Zod for scouting either. So this is, of course, guys, now we're looking at this after scout. Zod can scout 9 for sure.
I don't know if they're going to use those new rules for this event because the rules just came out. They have 1 week to like decide if they want to use it, but the whole like pivot changes that just came out yesterday. I wonder what rules they're going to use.
Doesn't affect Orks too much, but if anybody's wondering, yes, Zod scouts 9. Anyways, that just notice that on this list, he has no infiltration, no scouting. He straight up all trucks back in the day, taking it old school with the truck spam. And whenever you see a truck spam, you're looking at a straight up general list across the table kind of matchup. So I like to see it. I like to see it. Chris Tech, what do you think about that?
I agree. It's kind of like either they have enough activations to kill you or they just don't.
Yep. Now we have from China.
You have Lawrence.
We have our boy Lawrence with another Warhorde.
All right.
The big China war. I like that, dude. That's pretty sick. All right. So here, Chris, you want to...
Yeah, so we got the same star. We got some 2 beast bosses, no enhancements. We got Gaz. Got a war boss with a super cyborg body and another war boss.
Okay, dude, he brought 2 beast bosses.
So we have 2 beast nega units, a boys, just 2 10-mans. 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks this time. 2, 3 flash good min squads.
No, one's a full.
Oh shoot. 10, 5, 5.
Again, we're seeing that mixed up again.
Gretchen, Mans to go with Gaz.
Only 2 mega knobs.
I'm surprised it went 2 kill saws, yeah. Knobs, Storm. This to me looks like a list that would like at the end of the index. This is the kind of list I feel like would be running around.
Which is pretty much a very similar, right, to what we just looked at the list before this. They had 5 trucks. They had boys. That was the major difference here. Again, we're just seeing a lot of SWAT teams, guys, and a lot of trucks coming back into the mix. That just seems to be what's going on over and over again. And that's what we were seeing even from singles events. So it's not just these teams, but when you're looking at these teams, when they're looking for their generals buildup, they're bringing their beast bosses for anything tough. They're bringing their trucks to have plenty of transports for jumping off platforms. They're bringing 5-man units of knobs, not to 10-man units anymore. And then they're just bringing a big unit of 10 flash kits for that as well. And sprinkling in 2 Storm Boys, 3 Storm Boys if they can here and there. Keep in mind, that's the second list that we've seen that's looking like this. Again, I give this list a solid. And even here, he still ran 2 units of boys. So even then, he kind of has the 20 boys, just like the other list did. He just broke them down into 10-man units. Right?
Yeah, it looks like he just straight up some character, cut down on characters, added in gas.
Yeah.
And then cut out 1 truck and then added in those.
And so how do you feel about that versus this list? Right? This is very similar, but with gas. And Warhorde is always better with gas.
I mean, crit, lethal, sustain 5 is just a good rule. It's just a good turn.
Your
go turn just hits so much harder.
Having access to damage 4 and a 2-up invuln really makes a difference on that throttle turn.
I think I like this list better than the last one.
And I think when you're playing trucks, they actually play the flanks better for orcs. Because you can run up from terrain to terrain. You get blown up, you fall out behind the terrain, and you run through the terrain to counteract the enemy. Gas allows you to kind of bully the middle.
I think one thing to consider too is this WTC rules, so you can fight an inch away from the wall and still make a charge. Things like that. Layouts are also different than not regular GW layouts, so it really favors melee armies that can just kind of quote unquote get stuck in really easily. And min squads and orcs does that really, really well. They can't hide from you because you're gonna throw a unit, 2 units, 3 units every turn, and you're gonna stop their movement, stop their actions. They're just gonna have to engage with you, and they can't hide away from it.
What I would say is this is a 8 out of 10 list. The difference is this one has gas. You brought more of a hammer. The other guy had a 20-man unit, a Boyd unit, which is more like a net where you're gonna run out and touch stuff, kind of play the mission, tag things, slow them down. It's just different kind of tools, but they're very similar kind of structures of list of Warhorde, which is plenty of trucks and a bunch of SWAT teams to kind of kill and do a combined arms kind of fighting. Which, guys, right now in Nexus, as I'm kind of gathering my info for these strategy videos I want to do, it's very much looking like you're gonna have to play. Hey, I can bully the middle, but I'm not gonna stand in the middle. Hey, I'm gonna run up the flanks and play the flanks. But I'm going to also have combined arms when I do this. And that's why people are reverting back to trucks and back to SWAT teams. And then you're seeing a gas or the 20-man units of boys. So let's see what else looks like similar to this idea as we go forward, because that's the idea in my head when how everybody's kind of playing Nexus right now, and Orks as well want to play this kind of way. And how do they do that? And the WTC level.
All right, one we have 1 more Warhorde list from Nicholas O from Team Finland.
Team Finland, let's go. All right, he says 6 codex with 6 detachments, but I guess Warhorde it is. Can we agree that armies of renown is a bad concept? This is team list name, guys.
I love list names.
You can read it. Here you go.
Yeah, so we have Big Mac this time. Gaz.
Remember, guys, hold on. Big Mac with a Drilla and a Tractor Blaster.
I don't even know what a Drilla does.
Okay, the Drilla is just his melee profile, and then he has another weapon. He could have like a custom Mega Blaster, and instead he chose a Tractor, which is the one-shot
anti-fly?
Yeah. Gazgul?
Uh-huh. War Boss. Follow me, lads. 20-man boy. So is it so just the War Boss, no secondary characters in that squad?
Doesn't look like it. No.
Okay.
The Big Mac.
Can you put a Big Mac in there?
The Big Mac, yeah.
Does he give him the once per game invuln still?
No, he's gone. He gives them the ability to move through enemy models as if they're not there. So the 20-man units can use follow me, lads. Move those inches like we talked about earlier, and then he can run. He can walk through you.
Can they fall back through?
They can't charge through it, but they can move through it.
Can they fall back through enemies?
I believe it's to make a normal move. We have to pull this up, but here you can keep reading the list.
All right, we got only 2 trucks this time. 2 battle wagons. One for gas, maybe. One for the boys.
You think, dude? After we seen that with Mr.
gas.
Marshall Peterson.
Wait, let's look at before we even look. Let's look at the war gear on the battle wagons.
Oh yeah. Okay.
One's. Oh, look. I'm gonna say yes because only one is a hard case.
Dang. He brought a battle wagon for gas, dudes. Is that real, guys? I mean, we seen it kind of worked. I mean, even though I know he didn't do the right toughness, but the concept of it could still work.
I don't know how I feel about toughness in battle wagon.
I mean, it has
2 men squads of flash kits.
No,
3 men squads.
3 men squads of flash kits. 2 men squads of grots.
These one's different. This one's power claws. The other man's had twin kill saws, and I think power claws versus gas is.
He has one of each.
Yeah. So you can choose the option. This is not twin.
Which I like that better.
That's why I like them too.
Especially on Warhorde. I actually like that.
Yeah.
On Warhorde, I like that better.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then he has knobs.
And 1 big man knobs too. One Storm Boys.
Okay, so for that big man knobs, now he makes me wonder: it might be a matchup dependent thing.
Yeah,
because you follow me, lads. War boss can go with the 20-man unit of boys or with the 10-man knobs. You could even, for some reason, if you're a wild git, put the Big Mac with the knobs and use them to move through enemy units. But it is what it is. Let's take a look at the Big Mac anyways, because he's just such a not meta kind of boy that get brought up. So let's look at him anyways, because we know he brought the Tractor Blasta, which is anti-fly 3+ dev wounds. He brought the Drilla, because you were asking, Christian. The Drilla is only 2 attacks instead of a power claws, 4 attacks, but it's 12 strength, -3, flat 3 damage.
It sounds like it hurts.
Okay, only 2 punches though. So
that could be 4 punches. You never know.
You never know. You're right. That's a good point, because if he's playing with 20 boys, right, you're going to use Unbridled Carnage here. So he gives them the ability, because you asked if you can fall back. It says you can reroll the advance made for this model's unit.
That's pretty big, honestly.
In addition, this model's unit can make a normal move, advance, or fallback move.
Okay.
That in this move it is finished. The models in the unit can horizontally move through models and terrain, but cannot finish on top of them. So yeah, when you fall back, he can do it.
So whatever he picks. Wait, does he have the enhancement on his war boss, fall back and charge?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, because that'd be a good combo with the war boss.
That'd be an interesting combo with the war boss, right? That would be. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say, for the most part, Big Mac and the war boss gonna go with the 20 boys. And some matchups, I really think the Follow Me Lads one, because you put Follow Me Lads, here we go, on that unit, and you have the Big Mac. Now you can actually move through people's units, and you're rerolling that advance on that here we go turn that you use. Here we go.
And then you roll
so
1.
you're rerolling the advance. So let's say you're getting, now you can reliably say I'm getting 4 + 2. So I'm reliably getting an auto 6-inch advance +2 to my movement. That's big, dude. You're dipping out on that case. You're dipping out on that case, dude. And then you have 2 wagons. Mind you, you can't here we go when you're jumping out of the wagon, because timing of when you're using the strap, but whatever. Then we have 2 Gretchen. Okay, yeah, and then the big knob unit. Like I said, big knobs. I'm falling less in love with the big knob unit, but if you're gonna like it, I like it for Warhorde, because then you're actually stacking lethals with it, so it can punch up into units that typically it can't punch up into because the lack of strength into the high toughness model. So that makes sense, right? Because I'm going, well, with Gaz and him doing lethal 5+ sustain, now I can actually put the volume of wounds into this toughness 11, 12, etc. model.
I think out of the 3 lists so far, I like the second one the most. Still, I feel like it has the most versatility.
I give this a straight 7. There's sometimes, dudes, that I just run into it, guys. 20-man unit of boys just gets picked up once it peaks, and sometimes it's not as much as commitment as you hope, especially if it doesn't have follow the pain boy in there. Sorry. Shorts, you have the battle wagon to maybe escort this. That's the thing too. But like I said, a little bit too much picked up. Overall, not bad. But another thing I want to say is you're seeing a lot of SWAT teams, and you're seeing almost the same amount of flash hits every game, where it's 3 units of them. 2 of them are 5-man units. In this case, they're 3 5-mans.
Flash kits have been such a roller coaster. They're like their JDC hasn't changed at all, but they went from not playing to
Flash kits are
auto include to not play to like seem to be an auto include almost again.
You know what they should? In my case, I believe they should be used frequently, often. And if you're bringing flash kits, bring them in 5-man units because they have big dumb bases as 40 mil bases. And so in that case, when you're disembarking from transport and stuff, you don't want to get stuck. So that is the third list. Now we're looking at the fourth list. We have Sergey from Team Israel. He said so we have from the Israel list. He has a green tide. Yeah. Oh, another green tide list, guys, because this isn't the only one, but this is one we're covering real quick. So, Chris, you can get to the green tide.
Yeah, we got some infiltrators finally. We got Snickrot out there.
You're right. Finally, that's actually a good point, right? You seen we went several Warhorde lists that were just straight up throttle. So, okay,
Triple Painboy.
Triple Painboy.
And just 3 war bosses also. And the Ruckus Warcaller is at the
count as 10.
Count as 10 all the time.
Yeah.
And then 2 weird boys. Okay.
And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
He just said fudge it.
So 5 of the 6 20-man units of boys.
He just said if you're gonna take fix, do it. He's just egging you on.
Yeah, he just said go ahead. 2 units of Grots, 2 mech guns, 3 storm boys,
and Warbikers. That's the first time seeing those.
Huh.
So this guy said what nerf? He said what nerf?
He really did. He really did. He said one nerf, and I'm just gonna bring more stuff. This to me looks like a straight up. You're just putting this into someone that you think they can beat because you look at their list before the matchup.
So you're looking and say this guy just doesn't have enough.
Just has enough to kill boys.
Yeah.
I'm just going for it. Then I have a bunch of little units to score my secondaries. That's it.
What do you think about the solo mech guns?
Well,
with the smash,
they're good if you're gonna put them in corners. And they can come in from reserves. They're really small. So they're actually fine for secondaries. They're weird. They're just weird like that. Where
what do you think about smash guns versus bubble chuckas versus mega blast?
I think if it's a single model, just go. You could bubble chucka. It doesn't really matter. You know, bubble chuck is fine just because how you get the order of operations. But I think really it's it's all about the mech guns and Dread Mob. Anything else other than that, you're bringing them as one model like this. Put them in corners. Chipping stuff or just doing a secondary or just denying deep strikes or bringing your own stuff from reserves so you can fill up that spot of the table.
Are they the next cheapest unit after Gretchen in the Codex?
Pretty much. Like Ludas are 50 also.
Okay.
Yeah. So then 3 Storm Boys for scoring and then Bikers. So like I said, he just has a lot of stuff to just either just move me a little bit of everywhere in the tables because what you find out is even though 20 boys take up a lot of space, you run out of activations. They're not doing secondaries in combat anymore because the pistols thing doesn't count anymore like it used to. Therefore, he just has a bunch of little things to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's hoping up to fill up space. You can't deep strike on him as easily. But this is a straight up teams list, in my opinion.
Do you think this list can still do fix like they used to do, or no?
No,
is this doing
no, I don't think so. And also, I don't like that list for singles. I think that list, as much as I respect them for not acknowledging the nerfs, this is a green tide list that said, hey, I'm just going to go into people that can't fight mobs of boys. But you don't see he doesn't have that bulwark, right? Like the other lists we see in singles that did well for green tide, he had something that was a gargantuan squig off, which is either gonna screen for you as in you can't kill it, or B, the green tide screens it and then it countercharges whatever tries to kill the green tide. Right, there's that one big missile. I used to use gas for that. People used to use a mega knobs for the same reason before the nerf. Having something like either it's gonna take damage for you as a bulwark or it's gonna act as a giant hammer for you. In green tide is important, and he simply doesn't have one of those. So that list, I'm gonna say it's my least favorite list, and it's specific just for teams. I think for teams it's solid, right? As for if you're gonna reflect into singles, not my favorite. For teams, it's still solid. I still think you want some kind of bulwark or get something out of respect. There is nothing on Sergey's list that made me respect him. If he runs into somebody that can kill him, they're going to just directly stand the line in front of him and beat him up. So he has no AP. He has nothing else that can fight but boys profiles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Notice that? No shootings. Just everything that was is just little chaff and boys. So, It is what it is. It's like I said, very specific to teams. Oops, I did it again, guys. Sorry. So that was 4th. Let's go on to number 5.
So from Latvia, we have Constantine. And this time we have another Warhorror list, it looks like, over here.
From Latvia. Sorry, guys. I just like doing that. That didn't make any sense.
All right. Once again, starts with double Beast Boss. That seems like
Double
a pretty good
Beast Boss.
staple
That's
for
a
most of these lists.
It is.
Death Killer War Truck with Super Cyborg Body.
I'm
Classic
glad he's
combo.
back, dude.
Classic
I'm
combo.
glad he's back, dude. He's my favorite. Like, I know that you want to have that objective, but I'm just gonna throw this guy over there.
Is he
because
OC3?
he's obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of OC for 95 points.
He's a lot of OC, dude. Just enough to bother a transport.
He gets more than a Rhino.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he matters.
So a War Boss with Follow Me Lads and a Weird Boy. Okay, and Zod.
Oh,
okay.
dude,
I
like this character throw.
Okay.
Sorry, I got too
How do you
excited.
feel about Zod with no infiltrators? Do you need the infiltrators combo with Zod? What do you think?
Not necessarily, because he can move 9 so much. And if you're right on him, then you're kind of giving him something he can charge into with them.
Okay.
And they do garner a little bit of respect, like 5 scouts into Zod and Gratz. Dude, he's wrecking them 100%. No doubt, 100%. What I would say is what I like about this, right, is just from the character profile. Before I look at this list, you have all the bases covered that you want for what I described when we started this. And next is how you're playing. You get the respect for the mid table from the beast bosses, but also for anything tough. You have a unit between the Death Killer Wartrike and Zod that you can choose to go towards your natural expansion or your opponent's natural expansion. One of these, whether you choose, right, depending on like what you're going into, but a trike might be better to be as a distraction unit into the enemy's natural expansion with some bikers, and then Zod go to your home and your home natural expansion objective and kind of secure it for your early game. So you automatically play the flanks right off the rip with this kind of list that I like, and then you have some respect behind it, right? But what is the Weird Boy with?
I think, let's see if he's solo.
Yeah, let's see. No, I don't think so. So double Beast Snagga boys, a 10-man unit of boys, 20 Grats because Gretchen. Oh, and then we got the double kill.
There it is. There's the commandos. That's what I was looking for.
Let's go. And you're looking for commandos?
Yeah.
And even more of that expansion that we talked about, which you said, how do you feel about with infiltrators? When you have Zod, it is important to have infiltrators, but they're not mandatory. It just helps to make sure you can move that full 9. So it's good that he paid for it, in my opinion. But he also paid for double kill rigs, dude. And the beast bosses. What's going on here?
This list looks like the most fun.
This list looks like the most so far. That's you nailed it.
This one's the most movement control out of any list we've seen so far.
One big 10-man knob unit, a minimum size Squig Hog Boy unit.
Kind of expensive. Two
minimum size Squig Hog Boy units, and then 2 Storm Boy units. All right. What I will say here is I love this list. I love this list in the way that not only do we, because I like how fun it is, but this looks like it's playing the game how you want. Just consider it like this, guys.
How many war bosses does he have?
In this list, he has 1.
Okay, so just go.
He has one with the knobs, and then the Weird Boy with the boys. Surprisingly, it's not their warlord.
Wait, is he taking the Wartrike solo, or did he have some bikes in his list?
Oh yeah, good call out, right? I don't think he had any bikes.
He just took him solo.
He took him solo.
I
think that's fine. It's just then you're kind of really susceptible to Meltas. Usually I try to find the points for that, in my opinion, but whatever. The double squigs is a very interesting call. But here's the way I see this list working out, guys. And I'm actually very curious on how this git does. Let's mental note here, guys, for my gits in my Discord and everybody else. Let's make sure we take a list here. I'm going to run Mr. Latvia down. I want to look at how Mr. Latvia does in the future.
Is he doing solos and teams, or is he just doing teams?
I'll check that in a little later. But I like this list, and the reason I like this list, guys, is because, one, he has the commandos to automatically take near his home natural expansion objective. Natural expansion is the objective that's closest to you from the middle of the table, guys, for anybody who's watching, right? So he has the commandos to go there right away. Then he has either the trike or Zod to either assist with that, or one of those same harassing type units goes towards your enemy's natural expansion. And Zod's really good for that because he just takes a while to dig out, and he has enough OC that you have to kill him to out OC him. No, right, Chris? Right. Mm-hmm. And then in this list, you still retain the threat of the middle of the table because you have the Follow Me Lads knobs unit on this list. So if you go to the middle objective, you're getting jumped on by either the Beast Snagger boys or the big brick of knobs. Then you have the rigs to shoot either las cannons down the table, give +1 strength, so any skirmishes get more sided in the favor of the boys between even the knobs punching up,
pushing those knobs to
or
strength
the knobs. It can push the knobs up to strength 11.
12.
Yes,
Strength
you can
12,
push.
actually.
Yeah, dude, it was funny. I was talking to Chris David about this at work. That you can take the knobs up to that strength category where now they can punch up into high toughness units. Take the commandos to high strength. It can take the Grots to strength 4, and then the Grots are strength 4 with +1 to wound. That actually matters. Trust me. That
I wonder
matters.
what the math is on a knobs double buff into a Lariator.
Also, not that they're gonna hold on. Let's hold on. And then we also have the 2 units of squigs. They can also take those strength buffs. So you can take the squigs up to strength 6 or 7 with lance. So if you're going into elite infantry and stuff that isn't vehicles, monsters, you can get them into those better skirmish outcomes.
The more I look at kill rigs, the more I like them.
For real, I think that's the best way to kind of look at it. Is kill rigs are constantly slept on. They're an all-purpose kind of unit, multiple phase, and they put orcs to getting +1 to wound a lot of the times by giving them that +1 strength.
And they weirdly give you an Overwatch target.
And so they give you like
if they want to
shoot
a cheap transport, throw it in the middle, like kill rig maybe. Just pop a transport in their turn. Things like that, or injured transport, or they're falling back from you. Things like that.
Yeah, and I like that he brought the weird boy. I'd say that's the only thing on the list that's questionable. Yeah, for mobility, dude, he just ends up everywhere on this list, right? He ends up everywhere on this list. Just consider it, right? Between the trike, Zod, transports, rigs. I like this. This is a very good list. I look forward to looking at this going forward. It looks like the most fun, and it looks like it's playing the flanks.
I think.
Sorry, what?
That's fine. You can finish your thought, and then I'll say one
my
last
flanks
thought.
is, like I said, going into this when we started, playing Nexus. From what everybody can gather is I can threaten the middle, but I don't have to commit to the middle. I'm playing the flanks, and I'm pressuring you so I can get to your home objective, because it will matter, because secondaries favor getting into your enemy's home deployment zone, and sometimes getting to your enemy's home objective. So a lot of the time when you want to pressure, you want to run up the flanks, harass the enemy's natural expansion, and then blow up the side that you naturally control and get to the enemy's home objective. Therefore, you want to quickly do that with a lot of pressure, and this list seems to do it well. It has the knobs to play the center and to harass with the beast bosses. It has the rigs to transport these more killy shock assault units up the table. It has +1 strength to give all your skirmishing units different wound thresholds that they can reach. Your squigs getting to different wound thresholds you can reach. The only thing missing are kind of like flash kits is all I would say would be missing on this list if I had to be picky. And even in that case, it'd be hard to fit them on there. But other than that, I really like that. So this list is playing a really, really interesting version of Warhammer that I like to see. And that's why I'm getting my kill rig up and built.
Yeah, anything I feel like out of all the lists so far, this one the most intrigues me the most because it's most skill intensive. If you can either pilot that list really well and do good, or you can just not know the ins and outs and get smashed.
I wrote this list down. Let's go. Let's see how my boy from Latvia, Constantine, does going forward. Oh, sorry. All right. Now we're getting into list number 6. And we got the sludge. He said, I almost took a Stampa list to a local RTT, but I bailed. Dang, he bailed. Christian, I took my Stampa to the RTT.
Not just a Stampa. We took a Stampa.
I took a Stampa, Mork,
and a Gorg.
And it was hilarious to a little RTT, and it was successful. I won.
You guys trying to learn Warhammer, and he's like, boom. Welcome to the big leagues, boy.
All right, dude. I say take your Stampa to the RTT. Have fun. Just understand that people think that you have to run up the table right away at the Stampa, and sometimes you don't. Really, playing the Stampa is about controlling the space around the Stampa. You just don't want people to get into you and kill you and get into range where they can auto delete you. If they can just delete you off the table, they were going to do it anyway. So it doesn't really matter what you do, right? So whatever. Shout out to the Stampa. Now we go into our matchup number 6, I guess, for the WTC player. We have from Portugal, we have Francisco Ventura.
It's like a Mexican accent, not a Portuguese one.
Okay, sorry, dude. All right, that's all I got. All right. He says, I don't do math. I'm just an orc player. I move, roll dice, see what I get. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a shooting list with that kind of talk.
No. My boy's out here going to be super sweaty. With that.
Once again, double beast balls.
Okay, so we have, again, double beast balls. Guys, if you haven't noticed, the vast majority of the best players in the world agree that double beast bosses on your warhorde list is ideal. In case you're wondering, which you weren't.
Snickrot.
Snickrot. Gas. I love how they're bringing gas and beast bosses, dude. They don't even care.
That's what you did at
War
your
boss,
GT, right?
Yeah, but not double. Then we have War Boss. Follow me, lads. War Boss.
2 min squads of beast snaggers. Sounds like people don't need to overinvest in the beast snaggers. They're just there to activate the reroll hits. Is what it sounds like.
Usually, but I mean they do punch. I mean, strength 5 feels good. When you get strength 6 into those T3, it really feels good too. Or even into T5. Strength 6 is a good break point.
Like, why not just plus 1?
That's why kill rigs are dope too. All right, 3 trucks. 3 trucks is kind of a good point. 1 big brick of flash kits. Love that. I think 2 5s though. If I just have 10, right? Just bring them in 5s. Me and you talked about that once, and you convinced me pretty much. Just bring them in 5s. Easier to move them around, easier to disembark them,
and that way you only lose 5 at a time.
If you only lose 5 at a time, harder to kill them reliably from the enemy. There's a bunch of different reasons. I would say breaking up a 10-man unit of flash kits is almost always good. How CP works now and how important it is in every other way for orcs means very unlikely to do Overwatch with this, just because you don't have reroll hits anymore. 2 units of Gretchen, 2 individual mega knobs with the nice combo of 1 kill saw, 1 power claw, greatly advised with gas. A 10-man unit of knobs, another 10-man unit of knobs, and then 3 storm boys. He went for the double knob brick. As much as I used to call this the scalpel unit, and I still love calling it the scalpel unit, I don't know how I feel about running 2 of those. Chat, how do you feel about running 2 of these? That's very expensive. That's about 500 points. Over 500
I think
points.
The issue of them losing the generic -1 to wound instead of the -1 for stronger than me is a big difference.
It is. I love the generic just -1 to wound because you just mess people up in these stacks because they had it and then you put hard as nails on something else. So it just stacked on making people with their target selection have a crappy outcome. Like you said, though, like I want to say, chat, disagree with me or not, I don't know how I feel about double big unit of 10 knobs. I can see you have gas here and you're going to take advantage of it.
You only have 2 trucks?
But I don't think you need, no, you have 3.
3?
He had 3.
So 1 for the Beast Boys and then probably double with the knobs. Or maybe he reserves the knobs.
He's reserving something because, he only has 3 transports. This list, I want to say, might be right along my second most questionable along the green tide one.
Would you reserve a Beast Boss or would you reserve a knob?
Ooh.
Probably reserve a knobs because I think Rapid Ingress and knobs is probably more meaningful than Rapid Ingress.
Yeah, probably just Rapid Ingress and knobs. Yeah, as for this list, just, you got to stick around. I question this list a little bit. Doesn't look like you got a lot of skirmishing going on here. Everything is kind of big and expensive that you got to play with. 10 flash kits, big 10-man units of knobs. The other guy, like you've seen, he had squigs or he had 10 5-man units, flash kits, 5-man units of flat knobs, stuff like that. You lack the skirmish. You lack the activations here. As much as I like your list name and everything and how your approach to 40K, I must say that I question how this is going to play out in the actual WTC layout. So shout out to Francisco in your list. Now we move on to the next one, which is number 7. Hopefully, there we go. We have Richard Kopcha. Sorry. Richard Kopcha, and shout out to you, my boy. My boy, I seen you in the Facebook group, and he commented in the Facebook group saying, "Hey guys, I brought this for fun. I know it's against the grain, but I'm just trying to fill a role for my team, and hopefully I have some luck. So wish me luck." And that's what he said because he was in the group chat. I read that before I got on live. So shout out to you, buddy. I seen that, and happy that you were in our group before we even covered this WTC. So that's pretty sick. So Richard brought a Warhorde list. And
no, he didn't.
Sorry, not Warhorde. Sorry.
Wow, you had one job. You had one job, Eddie. One job.
Everybody log off. Everybody jump off the stream. So he had the hunt list.
The big hunt. Not just the hunt.
The big hunt. He had the big hunt list. Probably the only person bringing the hunt to WTC, and he said he's directly looking to fill a role for his team with this list. So he wants some luck, but he's hoping that he actually does well. So he's really looking forward to proving the theory right that the big hunt works in team events. Christian,
that would be the one place you would put it.
That's the one place you hope they actually do their thing, right?
Because you put them into a list where it's just big things or thick units, and just say, I'm gonna kill you bun. Put Ultimate Moment on you.
Yeah. So let's see. We have triple beast bosses.
Okay.
One with proper killy, one with scrag every
so
stash.
proper killy +1 damage?
Yes.
It's just a good rule.
Just a good rule. That 3 damage devlins. Ooh. Then scrag every stash is sticky objective.
That's nice.
1 beast boss on Squigosaur with Glory Hawk.
And scouting.
Snickrot, Weird Boy. That's all the characters. Followed by 3 units of Beast Snagger boys, and then 1 basic unit of boys. 2 trucks.
2 trucks.
2 units of 5 flash kits, again with the 5 flash kit. Guys, if you haven't caught on now, get your flash kits up. I'm going to do a video on flash kits. I'm sick of you guys question me about them. What's up, Wicked Joe? Then we have 2 units of Gretchen, followed by, again, 2 kill rigs. Then a Squig Hog Boy unit. Storm Boy. Interestingly enough, he only brought 1 small Squig Hog Boy unit for his big hunt list. How do you feel about that?
I think it's fine because you want something that can. The whole thing with 40k is you need to just get better trades, and a little Squig Hog unit lets you scout, pressure early, force them to actually commit something real into you. Because if they throw scouts into you or 5-man intercessors or just something little, they're not going to kill you. Then you can just keep punching them. So that unit, it's enough where I think he's going to accept it's going to die turn 1, turn 2, but it's going to expose the big hitters. And when it doesn't expose the big hitters, means you can press the Oath of Moment button and pick that big hitter and just punch it down. So I think it's good. You needed something to bait. You need good bait to get those big fish in the sea. So I think that's what it's there for.
He's really relying on the devils here. What I would say is I like this list a lot. I just do question at the end of the day when it comes down to it. When you pay for these trucks and for these boys right here, would you have rather just bought another kill rig?
It's how many points?
Would you have brought another kill rig? 2 trucks is 65 each, and then boys are 85, and then a kill rig is 170.
I think 2 is fine. You also want action monkeys and screens.
I get it, but a part of me is just like that 3rd kill rig can just make a difference, dude. 1 always kind of dies, right? So you have the 2nd one to continue the pressure, and just more last cannons auto hitting. 3 auto hitting last cannons feels pretty good, I would consider, right? That's the only question I have for you, Richard. You let me know what you think when you tested this out. So I assume you tested it out. Like I said, I would possibly cut the trucks.
Both the trucks?
Yeah, I would put the flash kits in reserve as either both of them or 1 big unit. Like Joe's saying, he wants stuff to do actions. You do. I just don't think it's I don't think it's not worth it to have more rigs on the table because he does have 3 snagger units. Just give them all a transport, let it all be going. If you're picking a theme, just pick it fully, right? So mind you, all of these blast cannons are getting -4 AP when you're to hunt something. And just imagine turn 1, you need something that you can choose to hunt, and then you're like, oh, there's a castigator, oh, there's a rhino, right? Just something like that. You want to be able to go out there and do it. I just think the truck it can get in your way.
I want to see you run a triple kill rig list.
It could be sick. I needed a 3rd kill rig. I only have 2. I don't think it's terrible. Like you said, I can understand why you just need more stuff to do stuff. That's where the Storm Boys, the Grots, even the Flash Kits can end up being those things that do stuff. I'm not saying don't bring the Flash Kits. I'm just saying they don't need a transport, right? And you know, I would even say you could keep the boys if the points allow and just drop 1 flash kits if you want to keep boys and use them for actions, whatever it may be. That's the only thing I wonder. Even if you leave the list how it is, I think it looks pretty dope. Shout out to you, Richard. You let me know why didn't you bring a 3rd kill rig? Chat, you let me know what you guys think. Do you disagree with me and think he did the right thing by bringing trucks, or do you think he should have brought a 3rd kill rig? Christian thinks the 3rd kill rig is unnecessary. I think it would have been pretty great. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to Richard.
That's one of those changes where if you get enough reps, you can just rep it. You just rep it.
You rep it. And that's, guys, exactly. That's a good thing that Christian brings up. If you're one of those people who's wondering as a newer player, how do you distinguish these things when you're making the call? You run the list, and then you make the distinction once you run it several times into different matchups. Does this help me more to have another rig into my harder matchups, or do I just need more stuff into my harder matchups?
I think that's the biggest, one of the hardest things with 40K is it's hard enough to build a list, and it's extra hard to get enough reps with that list to refine it to where it's actually good for you actually feel perfect with it. Because then there's always something new in 40K, and then you want to try the new thing, and then it's harder to just commit to one style for a bit.
So now we're on our 8th list out of 10. So we're getting near the end. My boy Aaron said, so what's up, Bruce? He said, should I bring my infantry heavy dread
Double
mob
guard.
or my double gargantuan squig list to my next tourney? Christian is always going to say gargantuan squig off. All right, just so you know.
Why you got to word it like that? I just believe in that unit.
He believes in it for no reason. Okay. All right. So we have Team Switzerland. Christian, Aaron, bring 100 flash kits, 120. I mean, not 100 flash kits. Bring 120 grots. That's what I think for your dread mob. So for Switzerland, we have Christian. How you say his name?
He's BG. That's who he is. He's BG.
B Ranger. So B Ranger. Sorry, buddy. It's from Switzerland. He's running a Warhorde list, and he questioned this as nerf ? So we have
only one beast boss, 1, 2, 3 war bosses. One will follow me, lads, and that's it.
That's it. Dang, okay, that is the cheapest character count I've ever seen.
This is the only guy that we've seen so far today who doesn't give a 20 to assassinate.
Yeah, someone who doesn't put 700 points into character slot. All right, Beast Snagger boys. 5
1, 2,
trucks.
3, 4, 5.
Dude, he went back to the 5 truck spam. Let's go.
I've been waiting to say this.
I'm going back to truck spam.
I've been waiting to say this the whole event.
I don't want to hear it.
Eddie, where's his
You're not
war
gonna say
gear?
it. I don't want to hear that.
Where's his war gear?
Christian's
war gear.
Christian wants to know where the wrecking ball is. Just so you guys are wondering.
Gosh.
Don't listen to people like him, guys. You beat him up in the parking lot and just tell him to shut up. All right,
it's
so
WTC, and they spend a week
before
your list go public.
You're right. He's right.
Going over your list.
You're right.
Before they release them to the public.
If it's
so, this guy, if he brings wrecking balls, someone's gonna call him out.
If he doesn't, though, that's why he chose not to, guys, because he didn't want to get shot. All right. Anyways, we have 2 units of big flash kits, so 2 10-man units of flash kits, followed by a 5-man unit of flash kits, 2 Gretchen units, 1 big knob unit, followed by 2 5-man knobs units, 3 storm boys. Boom. I think that's perfect for a 5 truck kind of list. When you're running the 5 trucks, guys, you're pretty much saying I'm bringing 2 SWAT teams, a big unit of flash kits, and then 2 other things that are getting in my transports. In this case, did he go for knobs? I think he went for 1 knob unit, right? He went for 1 big knob unit, and then he has a 10-man unit of boys that can go in the other
he
truck.
Has gets SWAT team knobs, and then the 5th one is just probably the war boss.
Beast boss.
You think the beast boss?
I think, you know what? I think of not. I think the flash kits, like I said before, you don't even need to put the 10-man unit of flash kits in the transport. You can just put them in reserve.
Yeah.
So I think between the 5 transports, it's going SWAT teams in 2 of them, beast boss in the 3rd one.
Well, only 1 SWAT team because it's 2 10-man of flash kits, 1 5-man.
Oh, it is 2 10-man flash kits. You're right.
That's what I was saying. It's only 1 SWAT team.
So yeah, it's all 1 big knob unit, 1 beast snagger boy unit. Those are 2 trucks. 1 SWAT team, that's 3 trucks.
This list is gonna live or die on those flash kits.
It's gonna live or die on the flash kits and the transports, dude. But this is kicking it old school. I like that he brought boys. Shout out to the 2 boys units as the flexes. Everybody likes as a simple boys unit on your list. And that's why he said nerfed ? Because he's sticking to the classics here. He's sticking to beast boss. He's sticking to knobs, boys, and then transport heavy. I think this will do fine. For the most part, the theme we've seen here, guys, is everybody's reverting back to original index hammer.
What do his
which
is
boys
have?
Everybody's reverting back to original index hammer, which is truck spam. And what are you saying about Beast Snagger boys? What?
Just make sure they have the snapper. Make sure they had all the war gear. I was just checking the war gear.
Oh my! See, hear this guy? All right, so yeah, guys, it seems like they're going back to just truck spam from all of the WTC player list. So if you guys are wondering what the best players in the world think Orks should be doing, if you want the best results possible between, even though I know teams are like, oh, what can I do? For the most part, they're all even though for the most part teams are like, oh, they're not the same as singles. They're going for skews because teams matchups are looking for ideal matchups. You can see from all these Ork lists that none of these are looking for ideal matchups. For the most part, besides the Green Tide list that we looked over, and we're about to look at another Green Tide list, every Warhorde list is for generalist matchup. Every Warhorde list is like, I'll just take whatever I got to face, which is kind of good and encouraging. But then it's also going back to what most people think what you need is just straight up truck spam. And that's why I've been kind of avoiding Warhorde personally, because whenever I write the list, it's 3 to 5 trucks, bam, on my list. And it's beast bosses and stuff.
And you've been doing that for a year.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a year, so I'm pretty bored of that, like most people are. Like our boy Lucas Troller. Speaking of truck spam, shout out to Lucas Troller. I don't know. Troller. You're getting Troller. That's your name Lucas. Right now. So shout out to Lucas Troller. Speaking of truck spam, he's the guy who ran 6 last year of normal basic trucks, and then 3 of the Forge World trucks that aren't allowed anymore, the Mega Tracks. So shout out to him for going 9 trucks, and he was going 9 battle line too. It was awesome. So super legend right here. This year, instead of going for truck spam, he said, "I'm going for the Green Tide." So Lucas Troller is going for double beast bosses. Hey, this isn't Warherd, dude. What are you doing? This isn't Warherd.
Devon's just good.
This is good. Devon's good. Triple Pain Boy, triple War Boss, one with Bloodthirsty Belligerents,
and
one Weird Boy with Book Cunning. 1, 2, 3 units of 20 boys. To avoid it.
The other guy said, I'm just going to take 20.
Well, sorry, it's one knob. 1 10-man unit of boys. What it is when you go for 3 here is that he straight up wants to pay for just the elite unit of boys, and then he thinks the 20-man units aren't worth it anymore if they don't have Feel No Pains built in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep them above that 10 model threshold, and having 2 additional characters in there does make a difference. You're going to 22 models because when you're talking about the buffs they get, it does count for the characters in there, because it just says models in unit. It doesn't say excluding characters, which other buffs sometimes do that. So that's why people just say, I'm going to pay for just the 3 big fat units of double War Boss, double Pain Boy. Very valuable units in Green Tide. Then a basic 10 boy unit, 2 trucks, 2 big unit of Flash Gits units, 1 5-man unit of Flash Gits, Gretchen, and 2
MVP of WTC.
Dude, Flash Gits they might be MVP, right?
It seems every list
about knobs and Flash Gits.
Storm Boys and Flash Gits are the only things in every list.
And Grats.
Grats,
Storm Boys, Flash Gits. I think the other Green Tide list didn't have knobs, so then that would be
this one doesn't have knobs either.
This one doesn't either. You're right. Flash Gits are looking like the #1 list of WTC unit of WTC right now, boys. Not including Storm Boys and Grats, because those are more like just super auto take action things. And Beast Bosses, right? Beast Bosses are right up in there too. So shout out to Lucas's list. Very odd. You can see he decided I need stuff to kill anything that's high toughness with Beast Bosses. And he's just relying on the data sheet because there's no buffs you're getting from this detachment. You know what I mean? Then he's going for Flash Gits because I guess everybody just realized you need Flash Gits for killing screens, getting lethals. Strength 6 is a good threshold. So shout out to Lucas. Let's see how this goes. I'm really interested in it.
Shout out to Wicked Joe.
Shout out to my boy.
Gifted memberships.
Wicked Joe for 5 Wall Tactic gifted memberships. Whoa, let's go, Wicked Joe. And shout out to you for your performances of the last couple of GTs. Glad to see that you've been improving, getting some wins in under your belt as well, and getting your models painted up. So now we move on to the final.
2,000 points, actually.
He actually brought 2,000 points last time, and he won. So now we're going at the final list of the WTC, and that is Ben Harris. Let's see how our boy Ben Harris. Where is he from? Where is this from? Wales. Okay. Ben Harris, and he brought the Bully Boys.
Okay, let's see how. What do you think this is gonna look? Take a prediction. What do you think it's gonna look like? Okay. Because this is Nerf Bully Boys. How many? Okay, question.
I'm not gonna look at it.
How many mans is he gonna bring?
I'm not gonna look at it. I'm gonna assume we're gonna get another Beast Boss because Beast Boss has been everywhere. I only bring 1 on my list. I used to bring 1 with that.
I think 2.
For Beast Bosses on foot.
2 Beast Bosses.
Just 1.
They have the War Boss keyboard,
I'm going to say 1 Beast Boss unit with Ed Stampa. I'm going to say he's going to bring 2 Mega Knobs with War Boss Mega Knobs. And I think he's going to bring 3 units of Mega Knobs still.
3 Mega Knobs?
Yeah.
So 1 without a character?
Yeah, I think so. If he doesn't, then he's going for a bunch of knobs. So let's see what happens. He brought double. You brought
triple.
Oh, he brought triple. So we're both wrong, and he made 1 the Warlord. Dude, Beast Boss is making the way. He brought 1 Ed Stampa right there.
What does Ed Stampa do?
Ed Stampa, if the unit has a below full health or starting strength, then you reroll once. It's below half strength, then you reroll the whole wound roll. So a bit
that's a good cleanup unit.
It's good for Ed Stampa for Beast Boss. Obviously, it makes his damage much more reliable. Snickrot, triple war bosses, and then Zagra.
No mans
at all. Triple Beast Boy units. 5 trucks again. God dang. 5 trucks all over the place, dude. I'm going to dust off my 5th truck. Like, all right.
Okay.
2 units of Gretchen. One of them being a big unit. Yes, he did.
Okay.
And then 3 units of Knobs.
A 4, 5, and a 5, 5, and a 10.
3 Storm Boys.
Wait, so those are solo beast bosses?
No. They had 3 units of Snaggers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he went for truck spam. Everything takes a chunk of meat out of you. End of the story. And then he brought Zod just for straight up pressure, running up the table, running in the way. I like this list a lot for Bully Boys. Very different. We have no Mega Knobs. He didn't spam out Knobs. And he brought a bunch of beast bosses. So very, very interesting. You know what? I'm going to write this list down as another one I'm interested in to see how they do as well. So Latvia and my boy Richard as well. Richard. Shout out to Richard. So I got 3 lists here that I find interesting that I'm going to look forward to. A lot of these lists, though, guys, and shout out to Ben Harris. I like the use of triple beast bosses, 5 trucks, and then going for the normal, 2 5-man units of Knobs plus a big fat brick of Knobs to punch something really hard.
I'm interested to see how this one does.
I'm interested.
And
it seems
our 3. We have our boy over in Latvia.
So, Latvia, Wales here, and then Richard, which Richard was from, I forgot what country that was.
Wow.
What I was gonna say is this looks like kind of like a glass cannon army because everything once you pop the transports, then you just dead because everything here is just straight up T5 with crappy armor saves and no invulns really. So this is I position very well, I disembark very well, and I hope you don't have great Overwatch. What I mean?
I think a consistent thing with these orc lists is that all these take a great pilot. None of these are just auto, just advance through their thing. All of them take great pilots, and that's the state orcs are kind of in right now.
And that's exactly what I said when we started this, was anybody who's bringing orcs right now to WTC, for the most likely a faction specialist and was brought on the team to fill the slot. Orcs are right now, you get what your skill is rewarding you to get, or if you actually have the models to play the best of each detachment as it can be played. A few of the commonalities here that we'll go over. Now we're done with that right now. So shout out to the 10. Before we summarize real quick, because we're going to summarize here, but then we'll read the chats and we'll get out of here. But to summarize from what we've seen, Christian, I think it's pretty safe. Tell me if I missed anything to say. The best players in the war that are orc players that are saying, hey, to get the most potential out of orcs from where they're at right now, the main things I fall back on are truck spam, beast bosses on foot, Knobs with their power claws.
How'd you forget flash kits?
I haven't said that yet. I was going to bring that for last.
That should have been number 1.
No, I wanted to make that the big deal. Thanks for taking the thunder. See, that's why you don't bring noobs on here, guys. You have to deal with when you bring.
I'm top 200 in ITC.
No, noobs to YouTube noobs.
Yeah, I'm very noob.
Noobs. He interrupted. That's how you know he's new, because he starts yapping around here.
I'm just having a good time.
What we're saying is orcs need trucks, flash kits, Knobs, Storm Boys, Grots. And these are the 5 fundamentals that are taking orcs to the max peak potential for the WTC. If you're playing Warhorde, it seems like Gaz is very, very viable as well. And Warhorde is for sure looking like the strongest attachment and most used attachment going on to WTC for a plenty of obvious reasons. What's up, Christian?
And then I will mention to the kill rig.
Oh, yeah, right? Gosh, shout out. Thank you for bringing that up. Shout out to the kill rig as an honorable mention. And I'm going to give myself a mini shout out here because I've been giving the kill rig. Have I not been giving kill rig love? Have I not? In every tier list video I do and everything that we cover, that the kill rig was not dead and not garbage trash like a bunch of people bring up. It is a all-purpose, multiple phase kind of unit that can be used for support, killing, overwatching, transport, movement. Anytime you can get something that can play all the phases of the game, it has some kind of utility and it supports. That being said, shout out to the kill rig to making it on a variety of lists, of Warhorde lists, And for Warhorde, they're proving that it's the best like always because it has such great stratagems that benefit the Orks between movements, durability, and offensive output.
I mean, basically +1 hit attachment rule mathematically is just a good rule for a
Especially
melee
for
army.
Orks. Especially for Orks.
Yeah.
So what else you got to say about WTC and how Orks are at, Chris? Because, you know,
it's just brutal. Those big events are so brutal on everyone. It's so harsh. So like, kudos to anyone even trying to make it out there because those games are gonna be long. Your mind's gonna be tired after round 3, and then you get like 4, 5, 6 extra rounds by then. So
I mean, even if those guys are also playing singles with these lists too.
That's what I'm saying. Some people are gonna play 9 + 7 games.
Yeah, you guys are heroes.
16 games in less than a week, like 5 days.
I think that's the way I would, go to another GT or next little event I'm going to. If I don't come up with something super cunning, like I'm trying to work up with Dread Mob, Cult of Speed, and Bully Boys, if I don't figure out my super cunning Cult of Speed and work out here, or Bully Boys list here, I'm gonna have to just default to bringing my 5 trucks and my beast bosses and just getting stuck in the old-fashioned way, dude. Just playing the same way I played for years because it seems like that's just old reliable, dude. Every time you write stuff out, old reliable. So good luck to the 10 players at WTC that are rocking Orks. You guys are clearly faction specialists. Shout out to you and the fact that you're representing our faction. I hope you have a lot of fun. And remember, Orks are never beaten. We just get to try again. So as for you gets in chat, shout out to Wicked Joe again. Kill rigs when you want to play every phase of the game except no substitute. That's a great way to put it. So everyone, with that being said, there's only one thing to keep in mind is that we also have some
I was gonna say it.
Objective markers in the shop. So if you guys haven't checked them out, check out our objective markers. It means a lot to us and helps us bring more content and keep increasing our value and what we do. So shout out to our objective markers. I think they're pretty nice, huh, Christian? How about you?
Yeah, they feel really good. Just don't let your cat eat them.
With that being said,
wait, let me see if I know the words to this.
Okay.
Wait, okay. Give me a second. Hold your tongue. Because I don't know. I'm trying to say it like you do.
Dude, the outro, dude. Come on, hurry up.
I gotta compose myself. Shit. I'm just gonna say it because I'm not gonna say it right. It's if you cross the wall, we knock your teeth out, something like that. Shit. Say it. You say it because I can't. I think I got like 80% of the words.
Stop talking. There's only one thing to keep in mind. It's don't cross our wall because we knock your teeth out. Right, exactly. Whoa!